I never thought my marriage would end like this. I always assumed if anything tore us apart, it would be something dramatic, betrayal, financial struggles, or a fight so big we couldn't recover. But it wasn't any of that. It was words. Careless. Cutting words I was never meant to hear. Words that pierced so deeply that the moment they reached me, I knew nothing would ever be the same. The worst part? They came from the person I trusted the most, my wife. It was just a regular Saturday evening. I had just returned from running errands, my car still packed with groceries. As I stepped inside, laughter drifted from the living room. At first, I smiled, assuming she had friends over and they were simply catching up. But something in the tone stopped me. It wasn't warm or playful. It was sharp, almost cruel. I set the bags down quietly and lingered just out of sight. That's when I heard her. My wife, the woman I believed loved and respected me, was laughing at me. "He tries so hard to act confident," she said, followed by a burst of laughter. "But honestly, it's embarrassing. He doesn't even realize how ridiculous he looks." One of her friends added. More laughter followed. My stomach sank. I froze. For a moment, I told myself maybe they were talking about someone else. But then she continued, "And don't even get me started on how he dresses. I've tried to help, but he never listens. Sometimes I wonder how I ended up with someone like that." Each word landed like a hammer. My hands shook, my chest tightened, and my heart raced so loudly I could barely think. This wasn't teasing. It wasn't harmless. This was cruelty. My wife was openly mocking me in front of her friends. I listened a few more seconds, long enough for the last echoes of laughter to break something inside me. Then I stepped into the living room. Instantly, the laughter stopped, their faces drained of color. My wife's smile disappeared, replaced by shock and fear. Silence fell over the room. I looked at them all, then at her. My voice quivered, but it was steady. "Everyone get out of my house." At first, they didn't move, frozen. I repeated myself, louder this time, shaking with both anger and humiliation. They scrambled to leave, avoiding my eyes, grabbing their things. When the door finally closed behind them, my wife turned to me, pale and trembling. "Wait. Listen, it's not what you think. We were just joking." "I didn't mean it," she whispered. "Please, calm down." There was no calming down. I stared at her, seeing something hollow inside myself. "Take your things. Leave with them. Tomorrow, we're getting a divorce." Tears filled her eyes. She reached out, but I stepped back. I didn't want excuses, explanations, or claims that it was just a joke. Words like that aren't accidental. They come from somewhere real. That night is mostly a blur. Her crying, pleading, apologizing, but I felt nothing but emptiness. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard her voice again, embarrassing, pathetic. "How did I end up with him?" You don't say things like that to someone you love, not when you think no one's listening. And without respect, love cannot survive. By morning, she had packed her bag. The silence between us was heavier than any argument we had ever fought. She whispered apologies that couldn't reach me. The damage was done. I filed for divorce that Monday. She tried to resist at first, saying I was overreacting. She insisted it had all been a misunderstanding. But I knew the truth. I had heard every word, and those words revealed exactly how little she valued me. Looking back, that night wasn't the start of the end. It was the end itself. I had just finally heard it spoken aloud. If someone can mock you, belittle you, and laugh at you when you're not looking, the love you believed in never really existed. Leaving her was the hardest choice I've ever made, but also the most liberating. In the silence that followed, I found clarity. I would rather be alone than with someone who sees me as a joke. And that's how a marriage I once thought would last forever ended in a single night. Not because of lies, not because of cheating, but because of something far more painful: disrespect.